go. And boom. What's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, April 16th. I am feeling mildly rejuvenated. We've got 15 games to talk about, thanks to FanDuel making the decision to include all of them on the main slate. Great from a programming perspective for us today. Great for everything. So we'll be locking FanDuel in the middle of Live Before Lock. Should be a blast in the glass. Lofty, man, what's going on? How you feel about your Sixers?
Yesterday was just a really fun night, man. Martin Perez came through for me. It wasn't a huge performance, but he also lost the win to the bullpen. But 6 innings, 1 run, 5 Ks. You'll take that, right?
All day.
He was touching 97 in the sixth inning. I just looked now. His average velocity was 95.8 on the day. So that's encouraging stuff, man. Christian Yelich, big game. We got our chalk. Cole Calhoun came through, so no reason not to be happy. Yeah, it's 15 games, but we're going to do this real quick. So okay, here's a couple things. If you stayed up and watched the Clippers-Warriors game, you did not regret a single second of it. It was fantastic. Sweet Lou Williams.
Unless you were a Warriors fan.
Yeah, that's very true. Sweet Lou was phenomenal. I mean, just being able to watch him go to work down the stretch was awesome. They came back from a 31-point deficit. Like that 3-1, by the way, Josh.
Yeah, so great.
31-point deficit. Awesome game. Awesome win for the Clippers. It helps having guys like Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell on off your bench. Sixers had a 51-point third quarter, most in franchise history. Smoked the Nets in the second half, so that was cool. Baseball was fun. Baseball went well, and I think just overall, what a fun night for sports.
Warriors are still minus 6,000 to win that series.
Oh, dude, I said I had the Clippers winning 1 game.
Yeah.
I didn't see it happening in that fashion. I thought they'd win 1 game just because those guys they play really hard. They grind it out. They play all the way to the end. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. If you've watched the Clippers this year, like they were a well put together team, and you figured 1 game they would just sneak one out. Not in that fashion, but there's their one. Although it's crazy, they split home court with the Warriors. Maybe they win 2. It's still likely that they only win 1.
Yeah.
But it was a great game, and 1 and 8 seeds in the postseason usually aren't entertaining like that, which is what made it so fun, even if just for a game.
It's just so crazy to think about. It really puts into perspective how good the Warriors are, that they are minus 6,000 in a series that's 1-1. So they need to win. They need to win a best of 5. And now their center is out for the rest of the postseason.
When that happened, I thought to myself, man, that's a fluky way to go down. That can't be good.
I knew he was done immediately.
Yeah, I saw him walking to the locker room, and I didn't, I was like, I don't know, dude. Maybe he just has really cut legs.
No, that was his quad rolled up off of his knee.
Yeah. Oh, was there an image of it?
Yeah.
There was. Yeah, I saw it when he was walking to the locker room. Seriously, I thought, he must work out. And
as soon as he fell, I knew it. You know why?
That?
As soon as he went down, I knew it. I could see it in the leg. Do you know
why?
Were
you watching?
So I was awake at that time. I was just trapped in bed, unable to fall back asleep. Sure. Yeah. So I was awake from like 10:45 until 1 a.m., just not being able to do anything. So a lot of scrolling through Instagram. That one got me real quick. I mentioned it in Premium Slack today. Watched a lot of professional wrestling in my life, and those dudes blow quads like you wouldn't believe. And you just see it. Their leg just ceases to work. And he planted that last time and crumbled. And it was like, okay, there it goes. Done. Dude. And then I saw that freeze frame of him walking with his shorts rolled up. And you just see a ditch at the top of his kneecap. And you're like, okay, cool. That's where his quad was supposed to be.
You're talking about the one in the tunnel, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dunzo.
Yeah. It was, it's really sad. I don't know how long I don't know what that entails.
He's looking at 9 months.
That's, dude, coming off
like you can't just rehab that, like coming off of the Achilles too.
Coming off an Achilles, that's horrible, man.
Here's what's
Seriously, that's
here comes
terrible.
the 1+1 contract. stays in Golden State for the next 3 years. At the end of that, if he is rehabbed and can sign a bigger deal, then he actually has bird rights for Golden State.
It's still terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, blowing out the Achilles cost him whatever. This one's not going to help either. I mean, he's going to lose $200 million from these 2 injuries.
I don't know how much stock you put into it either, but the Golden State Warriors with Bogut starting in the second half, that's when the downturn started to happen. They because Cousins played only what? I guess he only played. That was in the beginning of the game, right? That was only like 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Yeah, never mind then. I for some reason I thought it was closer to. No, it was. I'm looking now. He played 351. God,
I mean, the Clippers scored what, like 71 points in the final, some sort of stupid amount of minutes.
So the Warriors scored 73 points in the first half. They were up by 23 points at halftime. And then the Clippers only outscored them by 9 in the third quarter, and then they outscored them by 18 in the fourth.
Insane.
Great game though. Really good game.
I don't know why I didn't turn it on. I just followed it through Instagram and Twitter. To be fair, I didn't feel good at the time, so I wasn't really trying to watch TV as well. It was sat really in darkness. Alrighty, so we've got a lot of games to talk about, and you and I are not great at talking about a lot of games.
I think the baseball will be a little bit better. We needed to get this out of the way. We needed to get this out of the way first.
For sure. So MLB Strategy is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. Any monthly package you choose, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher, you just get 50% off. So use that promo code, one big word, MLB Strategy, while you're signing up, and you get 50% off. Can't beat it. Come check out all of the content we have across all of the sports, premium, Slack, Alex's projections, rankings, ownership, you name it, we've got it. And shout out to Yahoo Sports. Thank you for being our presenting sponsor each morning. Could not be happier to be working with them. We'll be touching on Yahoo throughout the show. We'll drop some links into, since I see EMAC here right now, EMAC, if you don't mind dropping in a Yahoo link, that would be very helpful. We appreciate that, since I know that you are in chat as of a minute ago. We will be back on Friday for some Yahoo specific strategy show in the morning. We'll be talking a lot about Yahoo in the near future. But right now, we're talking Yankees and Red Sox. You ready to go?
Let's make it happen.
Yankees and Red Sox. This is a part of the FanDuel slate. Yahoo runs a slate for everything, so it's a part of their all-day slate as well. Not on the DK main slate, though. 4.1 run implied total for the Red Sox, 4 for the Yankees. Just a 51% chance to win for Boston. James Paxton on a hill for New York. Chris Sale going for Boston. What do we do with Chris Sale?
I'm not doing anything with him. I'm sticking by.
I thought you were going to be like, because I'm playing on DraftKings.
That too.
That's an easy out.
I just don't have faith in his stuff right now. You know, you want to look at his game by game velocity. Yeah. 92, 89, 91. You know, some people say, "Oh, well, that's that's not a lot." Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And
he's the 8th most expensive pitcher on FanDuel today. He's cheaper than Joe Musgrove.
No, I get it, and it's going to suck a lot of people in.
Yeah,
and maybe you know what? Maybe it'll end up working for them. But this stat, I'm reading it off again, and I read it off on the SiriusXM Fantasy Show on Awesome Radio on Saturday and Sunday. I talked about it yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it today again, because I find it to be this important for somebody like Chris Sale. The four-seam fastball, which he has thrown 76 times, has gotten 1 swinging strike, or 1 swing and miss. 1. Yeah, that's a huge deal to me. Like, it's a huge deal. If you're Chris Sale and you're not getting results on your fastball, you're not even getting anyone to swing over it. To me, there's something there's something problematic there.
Oh yeah.
And until that changes, I don't know what to say. It'd be different, Josh, if the movement and the velocity all look the same, and it's like, okay, just some, they're getting bats on the ball, okay, but this is different because the velocity goes hand in hand with the fact that he's missing none of those bats.
Oh God, sorry. That one got me. It's not good. We have him projected for 26% ownership on FanDuel right now. He is the chalk pitcher of the day. I don't know what to do with that. I totally understand why it's coming up like this. It came up the same way for me. That will not be how it ends when I get to lock. This is one of the scariest spots.
It's also against the Yankees.
Yep. No, it's not. It's not like really against the Yankees, but it's against the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean but it's not against the Marlins either.
No, but it's not the true Yankees. This would be a lot worse if Stanton and Sanchez and some of those other talent was in here. At least they're getting the dumbed down version.
Normally, I would like this for sale because of the amount of strikeouts you're going to get in this lineup.
Right.
But look, I don't need to repeat it again. Like, this is concerning to me. If your Chris Sale and your fastball isn't working, you are not working.
I see no reason to be with the field at 26% on Chris Sale today. I will have some because $9,000 is worth the risk to have him. But I see no reason why I would want to be with the field on him being the chalkiest pitcher in this spot. Craziness.
Especially on a 15-game slate. Keep that in mind.
Yep, exactly. There's too many other options.
Yeah, you don't want to be the whole wait and see guy, and once he has a good game, then you'll play them, right? Like, you kind of want to get there before everyone else catches on, which, like, all right, like Perez yesterday, I was willing to roll the dice on Perez in the event that he had a good start and then he's played next week. I was happy to get to him first. That's a little bit different than with Chris Sale saying, I'm going to hope that he's like, okay, with a guy like Perez, or name another pitcher where we saw good stuff and you wanted to roll the dice on it. There's a lot of them where you'd be like, oh man, he's throwing this pitch a lot more. His velocity's up. He's scrapped a two-seamer. So-and-so. I'm going to play him this time. But there were things that pointed towards that. With Sale, it's like there's nothing that suggests he has made a change yet. I am okay with the wait and see approach here, even though he's cheap, because number one, there's a lot of games, and number two, if I'm wrong, you're gonna get like Aaron Nola yesterday. There's something wrong with Aaron Nola. People can talk about the wind blowing at Citizens Bank Park all they want. Fine, do your thing. But that's yet another start where he looked completely lost.
Yep.
I'll take the wait and see approach with Sale because there are plenty of other good options on this slate.
Especially at 26% ownership. You're not
yes, of course.
You're not getting out in front of anything because he's still getting owned. So
exactly.
What's the utility? What are the chances that Chris Sale is the top scoring pitcher today and it matters?
Exactly.
It is not that high. So I can't justify it. He is coming up for me because that's how, median projections work at 9:00 in the morning. It's going to be hard for him to not do that, but it's not a direction I'll be going.
Yep. And there will be a lot of people on Chris Sale. We're already getting comments in Slack chat. People are there.
Yeah, I would rather just simply play James Paxton. Not that this is some sort of good spot. It's a terrifying spot. Red Sox don't K, but given the choice between them, if Chris Sale's 26% owned and James Paxton's 5%, well, real easy to just play a little bit more James Paxton and hope it goes well.
Both of these guys, I wish I could play. Both of them I'm not particularly huge on.
Yeah, that's also what I should say. I got 3% James Paxton before it.
Yeah.
Really hard to load up against the Red Sox.
Against the Red Sox. Yeah, mostly because you're not getting any strikeouts most of the time here. It's baseball. Anything can happen. I'm a huge James Paxton fan. I don't know what to make of him early on. I mean, he hasn't been able to work deep into games. We know that much.
Yeah.
And he's had a couple tough. He had a couple tough outings, man. But only one tough matchup. He's faced Baltimore twice, and both times he faced Baltimore, he either labored a little bit through a few innings, or gave up 4 runs, and then he faced Houston. I still have plenty of faith in Paxton. I don't think there's anything wrong with him whatsoever. But I'll wait till next start. Boston just doesn't make for the easiest of matchups here.
No. And we are not really projecting any bats to be breaking free here. No real ownership to either the Yankees or Red Sox side. Most owned guy is $4,400 Mookie Betts at 4%. I don't mind getting to Benintendi, Betts, Pierce, JD. You can talk me into Aaron Judge just because I'm always willing to take chances on big time power guys. But this is not an appealing game for any real part of it.
It should be fun to watch, but that's about it.
I'd be more likely to stack the Yankees than play Chris Sale too. And they're not getting any expected ownership on FanDuel.
I can see it. Overall, it's just I'm not really on this game.
No, neither am I. They didn't come up for me in my crunches, and I don't expect them to. Oh, just in case you don't get enough of 6 o'clock games, we've got an even better one here. Tigers and Pirates, classic rivalry. 3.7 run implied total for the Tigers, 3.8 for the Pirates. It's a 51% chance to win. Matt Boyd going for Detroit. Joe Musgrove, the guy that is more expensive than Chris Sale today, going for Pittsburgh. I did not get either pitcher. The public is not getting either pitcher. We're only getting a little bit of the Pirates bats. Do you have any interest in Boyd or Musgrove?
I buy into Matt Boyd's stuff. I'll say that right now. I think it's for real. But I also think it's a 15-game slate, and it's going to be real difficult to justify paying that much for Boyd.
Yeah, he's a couple dollars overpriced.
Yeah.
As is Musgrove.
Yeah. Dude, Boyd's strikeout stuff, that slider has been filthy. I mean, really, really good. The slide, I don't know what to tell you.
So I'm not shaking my head at that. Mike Gray in YouTube chat just said Yelich has potential to be better than Trout. So I'm ready to jam this microphone into my eye. Oh my God, that is shockingly terrible. That puts that D'Angelo Russell take into perspective.
Glad we got you off on the right foot this morning.
Oh boy, I mean that's just shockingly bad.
This Tigers game and Pirates game.
I got to say one more thing. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
They're the same age, right? It's not like Christian Yelich is 20. He's 27 years old. He's not growing into shit. Sorry.
Right. If Trout retired now, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I want to make it quick though.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I got it out of me now.
You're good. No, look, I hear you. Boyd and Musgrove are 2 good pitchers. I like Musgrove. He's a control guy. You're not going to ever pay a premium for him. But I throw that out there because I really have no interest in hitters from this game. Even righties from Pittsburgh, I really don't have much interest in going there because I think Matt Boyd's good.
Yeah. So Starling Marte and God damn, I'm going to whiff on Gung-Ho Gong, right?
Yeah, there you go, man.
Woo, getting it.
There you go.
Both guys projecting to get around 20% ownership. 3,100 for Marte on FanDuel, 2,100 for Gong. But don't really know why I would want to do that.
I had a feeling that would be the case too, which is why I tried to be specific about not wanting the Pirate bats either. Matt Boyd does a good job of limiting right-handed bats as well. So again, if you're on him, if you're on the Pirates and you think this is a spot where Boyd comes back down to earth, maybe. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and just light the world on fire every start, but if you're talking about like, is he an above average pitcher? Yes, I think he is. And I also think, given his ability to limit opposite handed bats, that to me stands out as well. Last season after he made those adjustments, you look at what he's done against righties. He allowed pretty much league average rates everywhere. A little bit of pop allowed the righties, but that was lefties too. But weighted on base, average ISO, all that stuff was mostly, it was right around league average. And we've seen enough changes to start this season to where I expect those only to improve. But look, if you're getting cheap righty pirate bats, I don't hate it. Anything's a park upgrade from PNC for the most part, but not going to be my favorite team at all.
No, I have no real interest in this. If Marte and Gong are chalk options as what amounts to one-offs for the Pirates, then I don't need to be there. This game is basically not on the board for me. So thank you to FanDuel for including it on the main slate. It's essentially 2 games that I will ignore.
There you go. Yep. Pretty much.
All righty. Now let's get to the games where everybody's involved. Nats and Giants. 4.7 run implied total for the Nats, 3.3 for the Giants. 66% chance to win for Washington. Steven Strasburg on the hill for the Nats. Derek Rodriguez going for San Francisco. I don't get the sense that we're going to be talking too much about Derek Rodriguez, but how do you feel about Steven Strasburg today?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, huh?
Yeah.
Going up against the Giants. The Giants against righties, I expect them to strike out more than they would against lefties, so that's a good thing. But just paying a premium for Strasburg, I don't know how necessary that is. If you're looking to the top, I understand it, and I think this should be a pretty easy spot for him to put up huge numbers. I mean, the Giants have 331 plate appearances against righties this year. They have the 6th highest K rate. They have the lowest weighted on base average. They have the 2nd lowest collective ISO, and they have a WRC plus that's at 35. It's higher than only the Rockies. So really, really bad. This should be a spot where Steven Strasburg just goes out there and mows them down.
Yeah.
So I really like the spot. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to pay for him.
Yeah, and I don't think that I do. I only got 3% of him on my first crunch. We're projecting 18 on FanDuel. Now that's naturally going to rise a little bit when I take ownership off of sale, but I prefer the first guy underneath him from a price perspective. We also have John Gray on this slate. I don't need to go all the way up to 10,900 on FanDuel, most expensive pitcher for Strasburg. It's safe. I don't have much issue with using Strasburg in a cash scenario, but in a GPP, it scares me just a little bit. In this projected lineup, outside of Steven Duggar leading off, it's a sea of lefties, and there's not a lot of swing and miss. 19% K rate, if I weigh it by expected plate appearances in this game. That's really low. The 3.3 run implied total is certainly helpful. They should have there's no like real talent in the Giants lineup. I love Buster Posey and Brandon Belt. Their best days are probably behind them.
Posey's are certainly behind them.
Yeah, I mean, I love that dude. He's fantastic for a decade, but
I mean, I don't have any faith in this Giants team.
No, neither do I.
I think he gets enough strikeouts here. Not the perfect matchup, but I think he'll be okay. By the way, when you look at pricing on Yahoo yesterday, just to put it in context, your most expensive guy was like $55.
Yeah.
Strasburg's 47.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's bad at all. Again, 10-3 on DraftKings is fine, but I would just suggest that you don't fall into any one pitcher and just feel like at the top you need to lock them in, because you have 13 or 15 games to choose from. There's a lot of pitching on this slate, a lot of different ways that you can go.
Chris Sale, the most expensive pitcher on Yahoo today, by $5.
Is it? Oh wait, I pulled up their main contest where he's not in it.
Yeah, Sale is 52, Strasburg 47.
Okay, Yeah, so you're looking at what, a full slate contest that they're running?
Yep. Yeah. I grabbed everything once I saw the FanDuel had everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll get to a little bit of Strasburg. I don't get the sense that I'll get all the way up to the chalk number. Do you see any issues with him being roughly 30% owned on DK?
I think it's a bit high for a 13 game slate. I think it's a bit high, and it makes me in some spots it would actually make me want to pay for Glass now. The problem is with Glass now, how many pitches is Kevin Cash going to let him through? Well, we'll get there, but 30% seems a little bit high. I have a feeling it might be a little lower than that, only because there's so many games.
Yeah, I don't get the need to go to chalk Strasburg here. We've got Robbie Ray projected for 1% ownership, Flaherty 2. That's just two guys just under Strasburg, where I think it's easier to make that decision in a tournament. I think Strasburg looks really good from a cash perspective, but that's about it.
Sure.
From the bat side of things, no real ownership going to the Giants, nor should there be. Really hard to expect. Like, they can be fine. It's really hard to expect the Giants to have an outlier performance on a 15-game slate.
I agree with that.
From the Nats perspective, Brian Dozier projected for 39% ownership on FanDuel, 24 on DK, just criminally underpriced over and over and over. I don't have a ton of interest in Nats bats here. Derek Rodriguez is like fine. He's not a complete gas can. He's just kind of like a tick below average as a starter. So I don't see it as like a crazy appealing game. There are better spots out there today. If I get shares of Soto or Adam Eaton, Rendon, Dozier, I'm cool with it. But I don't get the sense that I'll be as high on this squad as maybe the public. Although a lot of the public is just Dozier.
Yeah, he generally doesn't miss a lot of bats, but he hasn't given up a lot of power either. Even Rodriguez on the road, smaller sample, but only 0.55 home runs per 9. He does a pretty solid job of keeping the ball in the yard. Even though he doesn't get a ton of ground balls, he's just been okay, and honestly, he's given up a good amount of hard contact too. So I'm not necessarily sure what gives here, but I'm not huge on this Washington team either. There are a few teams that I just really like. And over his short career, sub 300 WOBA allowed to lefties and righties. He's been good enough. He's just he's more so a pitcher that I don't like to play, and I don't like to play guys against for the most part.
Yep, we're on the same page there. I think we could probably move on.
Please.
To your Phillies. Phillies and Mets, 4.6 run implied total for the Phillies, 4.4 for the Mets. It's a 52% chance to win for Philadelphia. Nick Pivetta going for Philly. Steven Matz going for the Mets. I'm going to need your take on Pivetta here because he's grading out really well for me. So tell me what you think about Pivetta.
He's broken, like most of the pitching staff for the Phillies. Is that what you wanted to hear?
No. I want you to tell me that it's a really good idea to play a lot of him.
He looks terrible. He's looked awful. He's looked just unbelievably bad. His confidence is completely shot. He even said as much in one of those post-game interviews. I'm legitimately concerned about what's going on with Nick Pivetta right now. Legitimately concerned. I wish I knew exactly what it was, but I don't. He is serving up so many hittable balls, like just so. He's against the Nationals when they had that was like a 3-run first inning, right? He had 4 or 5 straight batters in a pitcher's count, either 0-2 or 1-2. 4 or 5 straight batters. All of them reached base safely.
That's some bad luck.
Maybe. Problem is the balls were hit hard. I don't know, dude. I don't know. And the Mets are not a bad offensive team. You're getting Pivetta very cheap for sure. You know, you're getting him at a discount.
He is 6,900 on FanDuel today. He's the 25th most expensive pitcher.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally understand rolling the dice on him. But like a lot of these guys early on, I'd be lying if I said I knew what was wrong with all of them, you know, and some of them I'm just really not sure what the deal is. I'm worried about Nick Pivetta. I really am.
Well, that's not good. I got a lot of Pivetta on my first crunch.
Was worried about Nola too, and we saw that turned out. But hopefully one of these guys can break the wheel.
There's so much swing and miss in this Mets lineup. Nimmo, Alonso, Conforto, J.D. Davis all project for 25% or higher K rates. Matz has to bat. God, I'm so nervous here. I love him as a pay down option, especially he's got 1% expected ownership on FanDuel, so I don't think that I need the 17% that I got on my first crunch.
Mm-hmm.
But I like having him here because I think that he can really unlock some bigger, more expensive stacks.
I mean, I totally think it makes sense.
But I'm very nervous about whatever's going on with him and the rest of these Phillies.
I mean, the fact that he's going to have no ownership, it does make it appealing. There's no question, right? But and like you said, I think there have been some elements of bad luck here.
Yeah.
But other spots where it's like you have to put these batters away, and the pitch selection that he's used in those pitcher counts is crazy. And he's missed his spots. One of the biggest things is just totally missing your spots. So,
he's $29 on Yahoo. If you're playing the main, there's only 4 guys cheaper than him on Yahoo today.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's either going to look really smart or really dumb. There's no middle ground for this one because of his price tag.
I'm looking over.
He either gets walloped or goes out there and really puts a value on that number.
I'm just looking over some clips from last start, and God, he has missed a lot of spots. Teams have barreled up his pitches. For those wondering what barreled is, it's making like basically the best contact on the ball as you can, right on the barrel, maybe. 11% up from 7.8% last year. So their major league average is 6.1. He's at 10.6. Career worst exit velocity right now. These are just StatCast numbers. What else?
We got a comment in YouTube chat. If you're playing Pivetta, you might as well play Sale. Same logic. It's polar opposite logic. No, Pivetta is 1% projected owned on FanDuel. That's not even close.
Well, another thing that totally changes that logic is, dude, somebody tweeted this to me yesterday. They're like, yeah, well, same concept with Sale and Nola. No, it's not. Because Chris Sale, we have been able to identify what the problem was from day one, like easily. I can give you, like yesterday, I can give you Nola's plate discipline numbers, right? And I can tell you a couple of things, like his pitch selection in good counts has been very strange, and he's throwing less first pitch strikes, this and that, whatever. You still have to be able to fully diagnose it. With Chris Sale, we've diagnosed it, like.
Yeah.
With Pivetta, again, you can look at a lot of things. What is the actual problem? It's not the same thing. And
if Chris Sale were 1% owned on FanDuel, I'd be going crazy.
To a larger extent, like you just said, the ownership is vastly, vastly different.
Yeah. And he's at a bargain. Like, it allows you to pay for any bat you want. I think that's worth a flyer in a situation where no one is on him. It's still early. Everybody's made 3 starts? We've got a very tiny sample on our hands right now.
Right.
And we will look back in August, and some of the takes that we have now, based on the changes, will look real dumb, and some of them will look way ahead of the curve. That's baseball for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one.
But I'm not going to pretend like I've seen anything about Nick Pivetta that's promising. He's looked like he's taken 10 steps back this year.
Yeah, that's scary for me.
Gabe Kapler said after last game, he said, Pivetta didn't have the intent or conviction to put hitters away.
That is not what you want your manager to say.
Right? Joe Giglio said that's the most, he's a Philly guy. That is as critical I've heard him talk about any player in his tenure here. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't fully tell you what the issue is with Pivetta, but at a very cheap cost, if you wanted to run him out there and hope that he figures it out, well, today would be the day at that ownership.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. As for bats in this game, Cano is $15 on Yahoo. That's pretty popular. Real Muto is $14 on Yahoo. Very popular. I don't see myself getting to any major pieces of the Phillies or the Mets. Cano getting a little bit of love on FanDuel. I didn't really get to much of this game outside of Bryce Harper, and that's totally cool with me. Do you like anything, either Phillies or Mets?
Not really, no. If you're getting some discounts here, but I'll tell you this much: I don't have a problem with Mets stacks. Like, yeah, Pavetta's not going to be popular. I understand that, but if he comes out there and continues to look like he has, it's going to be a really long day for him. And if you want to talk about a taxed bullpen, well, consider this. The Phillies have played 2 extra inning games in a row, right? They've gone through a lot of pitchers. On Sunday, they played 14 innings. Yesterday, they played 11 innings. This bullpen is taxed right now. So, the decisions that Gabe Kapler is going to make, if Pivetta comes out here and doesn't look good early, it's gonna be pretty concerning. So, as a stack, I think the Mets are really appealing here.
Yeah, so they grade out really well for me, from Nimmo to Wilson Ramos. They're just not popping up. I was a little surprised, but they grade on a dollar for dollar basis. It looks like a decent stack. You get a first baseman, you get a second baseman, so they're not even that difficult to get to. I can see me getting to more of them as the day goes on. The reason that I don't think they're popping up for me too much on FanDuel is because Pivetta is not getting any ownership. That is something that I weigh a little bit. If the pitcher's not really that owned, I will sort of prioritize different stacks to try to be on the opposite side of the ownership. So it's really hard for the Mets to get there for me on FanDuel, just because there's no utility of being on the opposite side of Pivetta.
That's fair.
But I like it. Like on a dollar for dollar basis, I think they grade out pretty well.
Pavetta's just been so bad that if I didn't mention it, I wouldn't be doing my job. Like, he's just been so rough, dude. It's been brutal for him. And I don't know if he's going to get it back.
Well, let's hope he gets it back for just today. That's pretty much all I care about. After that, I pretty much just want him to go back to being bad, because that makes the Phillies worse. And really, that's all I care about in baseball.
You're a hell of a guy.
Yeah, I try. Hit that like button, everybody, if you feel the same way about the Phillies. And if you don't, hit the like button for Laffy. It'll be right for one of us.
Yeah. If you don't like either of us, hit the like button for humanity.
Yeah. If you don't like either of us, thank you for sticking around and still listening, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
It is 10:07 a.m. Chances of me wanting to listen to two guys I didn't like at 10:07 a.m. are pretty low, so there we go. Marlins and Cubs. 3.7 run implied total for the Marlins, 4.3 for the Cubs, which is a 56% chance to win for Chicago. Pablo Lopez on the hill for Miami. Jose Quintana going for Chicago. This is another one where I'm relatively indifferent on the starters. Quintana getting 28% ownership, though, on FanDuel, or on Yahoo, rather. 8% on FanDuel, 17 on DK. On Yahoo, where Quintana is $36, that is the 15th most expensive price tag on the full slate. Are you a Quintana guy?
Never have been.
Yeah. 17% ownership on DK. What do you think about that number?
I think there's definitely something here that's going on with Quintana.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a guy that generally misses this many bats. I mean, he is this has been way different, right? Like he looks different. He absolutely looks different. I heard something about his release point being different. I was trying to look into it a little bit this morning, but you're just getting monster strikeout totals from him, and in 2 of 3 games, 8 and 11. One of those was in Texas, the other against a Pittsburgh team that really doesn't strike out all that much. No, I think that Quintana makes perfect sense against the Miami Marlins. I will pretty much say what I said yesterday about Darvish, that if the first time all season, if I'm going to go to Darvish, it would have been yesterday, because the Marlins are that bad.
Yep.
And his ownership was lower than I thought. You know, everyone, I guess, would have rather played him in tougher starts. I don't think Quintana's overpriced here. He doesn't need to be amazing either. Like, let's just say he doesn't go out and have the exact same stuff as he did against Pittsburgh or Texas. It doesn't even matter, because it's still the Marlins, and they are striking out at the highest clip in the league against righties so far this season. They also have one of the least potent offenses from a power perspective. So there's a lot to like. I don't fade every pitcher just because of their ownership. I fade pitchers that I think don't warrant that ownership. That's what it comes down to. If I really love a pitcher, and I think he deserves the ownership, and I feel confident in it, then I'll happily play him. But there's so many ways that changes, and if it's super high ownership, normally I can find a way to convince myself off of him. I don't think Quintana's ownership is that high. Like, it's not outrageous. So, yeah, no, I like him, and he's at Marlins Park. I mean, there's nothing not to like about him here.
No, you're certainly not going to find too many better parks than this spot. You're not going to find too many better situations, considering most of the Marlins lineup is terrible. So yeah, I don't have any issue going to Quintana. I don't see him as terribly appealing on FanDuel on a one pitcher site, but as a second starter on the two pitcher sites, it's much more appealing. If he's 17% and Steven Matz is 1% on DK, I'd probably like to give a couple of those shares to Matz, but otherwise, I don't really have any issue. He grades out like he should at that price, with some upside in this crappy matchup of the Marlins.
Pretty much.
I don't have any interest in a single Marlins bat. It would be really difficult for me to find one that I liked. For the Cubs, I'll never really have much issue stacking 1 to 5 here, just like betting on talent, but they are not popping up all that much. 4.3 run implied total, nothing crazy. Pablo Lopez is good. I mean, above average, I guess. So it's not like it's a great spot for the Cubs either.
I don't have really any bats from this game that interest me right now. There's nothing that stands out. Quintana would be the guy that I like the most here.
Keep talking for a second.
All right. Well, it'd be nice if we could go to a game that I had something to talk about, but I guess we'll just keep talking about Pablo Lopez. I'm back.
Right. Sorry, I thought that was going to be longer than it was.
You're good. The only thing about Lopez that I do like, I'm not playing him today, but in 2 of 3 starts, he has basically not thrown his sinker at all. And then in one start, he threw it 28% of the time. So I don't know what to make of that. I thought he had pretty much scrapped it, but something to pay attention to, because you might begin to see some more strikeout stuff here if that's the case. But that's just something to pay attention to.
There we go. I don't have any Pablo Lopez takes after that, but
yeah, neither do I. But his changeup's getting a ton of swing and misses on it this year.
He's good. He's a solid pitcher.
He's not bad, but I don't like hitters from this game. I don't like the park. Pablo Lopez is good enough, and I don't really feel like picking on Quintana. I would if it was a team that had any semblance of power. They don't.
I think we're gonna have some stuff to talk about here. 5.2 run implied total for the Rays. 3.3 for the Orioles. 70% chance to win for Tampa.
Because Tyler Glasnow is a stud.
Tyler Glasnow going for the Rays. Dylan Bundy going for Baltimore. Glasnow $43 on Yahoo, 10,600 on FanDuel, 10,600 on DraftKings. Glasnow grades out as my favorite pitcher on FanDuel. He grades out as my favorite pitcher on DK. He grades out as my favorite pitcher on Yahoo by a mile, where he is only the 8th most expensive pitcher. I love Glasnow here. Orioles strike out a ton. They also are terrible. I can't imagine not wanting to have Glasnow. It blows my mind that Strasburg could be projected for more ownership. Is he not the best play of the day from a pitching perspective?
Can he throw more than 85 pitches? That to me is a concern.
I hope so.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Because if he can, then yeah, I love the guy.
If he can limit walks in this start, he should be fine.
I am the original Tyler Glasnow truther. Of course, I would like for Tyler Glasnow to come out here and throw another gem. I don't know. Like, so 5 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, 77, 82, and 85 pitches. Normally, you're coming back out for the next inning, at least after that 5th. I mean, you tell me. That's something I look at and I say, is Kevin Cash going to let him? Or if he finishes with 83 pitches after 5 or 6 innings again, is he getting the hook? That's the only concern in this entire start that I have.
My only concern is that if he goes for 5 innings, he might have 15 strikeouts against this Baltimore team.
I mean,
so many Ks here.
He might not.
He could just mow these dudes down. It's craziness. He's expensive. His price tag is really the only fear.
He's the most expensive pitcher on DraftKings.
Yeah. I can't avoid him though. I have more than the field. He's only 11% owned on FanDuel. Second most expensive pitcher. I'll take my chances with his upside. There's just too many potential strikeouts here against this Orioles team.
Sure. And if he can throw, more than 80 pitches, I'd feel a whole lot better about it. If he does, then you're probably going to be in for a really strong start.
Yeah. And
Dylan Bundy on the other. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just going to say, I try not to pay too much attention to pitch counts right out of the gate in the season. I just assume that they will slowly but surely ramp up as guys get, more into the flow of playing. So I try not to worry too much about those first couple starts. It's certainly concerning for Glasnow, and it's not like I expect him to go out there and throw 110 or anything like that.
The reason it's concerning for me is because you're not talking about innings where he was, or starts where this guy was laboring. Like, he allowed 2 hits in his last start across 6 innings, 3 hits in 6 innings across against San Francisco, and still didn't come back for the 7th.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, normally you look at a guy that's just absolutely cruising through opposing lineups like this, and you say, all right, he's going another inning, and he didn't. But I mean, I still love him. I think he's got really great stuff, and I'm happy to see it finally materialize.
Yeah, that's probably the concern. Not so much that whether or not Glasnow will go deep. It's the fact that there are a couple guys around him that, if they are cooking, can go deep.
That's exactly it. Yes, that's exactly it. If Strasburg's cooking, he can throw, 100 plus pitches, no problem. That's the issue that I have. But there might be more upside with Glasnow in this specific matchup.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to be on him. I can't really get away from it. I will do a little bit more digging, but at the very least, he is a GPP play in that he has stuff like very, very few. Might not be the guy that I would want to run out for cash. That seems like more of a Strasburg play. But in GPPs, Glasnow can really put up big numbers. And a win in this spot is pretty likely at 70%. About as likely as it's going to get. So
you would hope so. I mean, Dylan Bundy allowed 41 home runs last year. 41 home runs.
God. So what do you like from the Rays then?
Look, he's the type of guy that can go out there and actually look really good and let everybody down. Or he can give up 4 home runs in a start. There's the guy that allowed 8 runs and 3 home runs and didn't get an out.
Yeah.
Against, I think, Kansas City last season. Things can turn.
I think it was Boston. Was it Boston?
No, it was.
Boston was the start where he got bombed and then it got rained out.
Yeah, almost certain it was Kansas City because I'm pretty sure that. I'll tell you right now.
He gave up a bunch of bombs to Boston and the game got rained out.
It was Kansas City. It was 7 runs, 4 home runs, 0 outs.
Brutal.
Yep.
10% expected ownership for Bundy right now. Are you interested in Bundy here against the Rays?
I'm not.
No, I agree.
I'm just not. It is a better park. I get that. He's faced the Yankees twice. He faced a really good Oakland team. Like, I don't expect Bundy he's on pace for like 62 home runs allowed. I don't expect that to be the case, but I'll take the bats here. Tampa's got enough good bats scattered throughout this lineup that I think they should be able to put runs on the board and some home runs as well. So all of your usual suspects here are going to be like Austin Meadows. I have no problem with Choi either. And again, don't sleep on. There aren't a ton of righty bats you love here, but if there's a righty bat with power, Bundy has really struggled with right-handed power as well.
Yeah, Meadows, Pham, and Choi are the 3 guys that stand out for me on FanDuel. On DraftKings, probably the same. And you can lump Brandon Lau into that because of being a second baseman. Just kind of like he's good for a second baseman, so he makes it a lot easier to stack up. He's not getting any ownership on DK right now, but Meadows, Pham, and Choi is where I'd be looking. And then I don't have much interest in any of the Orioles bats.
Nope.
Outside VR as a one-off, I think is fine. He's worse against righties than he is against lefties, so that's not super helpful. But I can't imagine getting to too much here.
No, me neither.
Let's move on. My Atlanta Braves taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. 4.7 run implied total for the Braves, 3.8 for the D-backs. It's a 59% chance to win for Atlanta. Max Fried going for the Braves. Robbie Ray going for Arizona. Fried getting no ownership whatsoever. Kind of surprised me a little bit, but doesn't grade out well on my end. Robbie Ray is projected for 2% ownership on FanDuel, 1% on DK. So I'm going to start there. Do you have any interest in Robbie Ray?
Look, away from Chase, number 1 has been a haven for him. It has really helped him out. This season, I believe that one really, really sick start he had was at home. But last year, just the home run rates at home and on the road were absolutely alarming. I mean, super concerning. The Braves just don't strike out a lot, especially against lefties, and they walk a lot against lefties. So this is a very concerning spot to me, actually. Could Robbie Ray go out there and put up ridiculous numbers? Yeah, he could, because he's got great strikeout stuff. But I do have 13 games on this slate. I don't see myself going to Robbie Ray. And the reason is I like targeting pitchers in tournaments where it's a tough matchup, but there's actually that tournament winning upside. I don't really see that here with Ray. I just have a very tough time envisioning him finding any avenue where he can get to 10 strikeouts or 9 strikeouts.
I think I'm a little higher on Ray than you are, and I think it's because he's overpriced to me. And I'm talking DK specifically. I don't have him on FanDuel, and I don't anticipate having him on FanDuel. But on a 2-pitcher site, if he really is just 1% owned, I think that's worth GPP flyers, getting into like the 8 to 10% range. Especially if we see like John Gray at 20, Strasburg 29, Glasnow 20. it feels like a really nice spot to just be a little bit different. There's a little, like Albies doesn't really strike out. Markakis doesn't strike out, but he can rack up a couple here. I think Ray's stuff can play. He's not a guy that I want to go crazy on, but he's the kind of guy that I wouldn't mind having in like a single entry to be different for pitching if I was going with like a chalky hitting stack.
No, it's fine. I just have a tough time seeing the ceiling here. That's all. He's not cheap. Like you're not Robbie Ray, at least on DraftKings, is not priced down to where I can get there. FanDuel, what is he, 8,700?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I understand it. What's Ray on Yahoo?
He's 37.
So those are good price points, but the third highest priced pitcher on DraftKings, I just don't see any way I get there.
No, it's very reasonable. He does not grade out well in that sort of way. That's like a specific pivot for ownership purposes and nothing else.
Right.
And I can't really justify Fried. He doesn't go deep enough into games.
No.
I love him, but I can't justify
it. I mean, if he was a little bit cheaper, I could understand it.
Yeah.
And I think he's got really nice stuff. We all agree on that.
Yeah.
But probably not getting there with Mac Fried today. If he was like 7K or a little bit cheaper and you were getting a nice discount on him, that would be different for me. But once again, there's so many pitchers on this slate that I'm not going to have a tough time finding value elsewhere, and we'll get to them, of course.
You like bats in this game? Either side, really?
Not really, no. I mean, with Ray, the only reason I'm not high on him is because I think he's going to have a tough time getting enough strikeouts as he's going to need. And with Max Fried, there's just not much on the Arizona side to really take advantage of it with, especially when
Wilmer Flores. That's it.
What's that?
Wilmer Flores. That's it.
Yeah, sure, Flores. And if you, that's probably it.
Can't really justify anything else. If you want to do like Ozzy Albies as a one-off, I mean, dude smashes left-handed pitching. If he's leading off for 3,600 on FanDuel, 18 on Yahoo, 4K on DK, there are way worse ways to fill out second base.
Yeah, agree. Christian Walker, if you're, but that doesn't seem necessary.
No, too tough. I'm surprised the Braves have as high of an implied total as they do. I guess I should probably be happy that that's the case.
If you like Robbie Ray, definitely.
Yeah. I think we're good there, right?
Yeah, we can move on.
Alrighty. Time to talk about a hitter that is better than Mike Trout, evidently. 4.8 run implied total for the Brewers, 4.6 for the Cardinals. It's a 53% chance to win for the Brew Crew. Brandon Woodruff going for Milwaukee. Jack Flaherty on the hill for St. Louis. Flaherty not really getting much love in terms of ownership. Woodruff at 13% expected ownership on DK, 21 on Yahoo. Are you a Brandon Woodruff guy in this spot?
Did you happen to see what Freddie Peralta was owned at last night?
No clue whatsoever.
Well, because we were projecting him way higher than I had initially expected, and
definitely between 0 and 100.
He once again did not get through 4 innings.
That seems about right.
And that's exactly what happened, actually. Jack Flaherty's good.
Yeah, very.
Against Milwaukee at Miller Park. Sorry, long show.
Good to know that I'm boring you.
Well, I'm used to it. That's not it. Jack Flaherty is really good, but this is a spot that I'm really not that excited about. And then Brandon Woodruff. Dude, Woodruff has been it's been a very strange start to the season for Woodruff. He's had a couple games where he's racked up the strikeouts, but he hasn't had one single game where you say, man, he looks really good. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of that this season. Do we keep getting strikeouts from him? Maybe. It's possible. Is he going to face a lot of righties today? Sure. It's just this is a really good or a really good hitters park.
Yep.
It's a very homer friendly park, and both offenses are really good. So I'm obviously not nearly like yesterday. Milwaukee favorite stack, or one of the best stacks on the slate. I think they were my second. Either way, very good one. And St. Louis, it's funny. I had no Freddie Peralta. I should have had more interest in St. Louis, but I didn't. This is not a team that I like picking on with guys that are just okay. Woodruff has, almost a 12% swinging strike rate this season. Some of the numbers are good, but he's not getting any ground balls. He's getting like 35% ground balls. How does that work for you at Miller Park against the Brewers? Both of these spots are troublesome to me. One of them because it's an expensive spot against a good Milwaukee Brewers team, and the other one because Woodruff hasn't shown much. But look, if you wanted to go to Flaherty in tournaments because you think he's going to be virtually unowned against a really good Brewers squad in a hitter park, I get it. I just don't know if it's worth going there. Once again, do you have the upside for it to pay off? Where are you at on these guys?
Yeah, so Flaherty, not a guy that's popping up for me. He's just sort of priced where he should be, and the matchup is really, really difficult. So he's getting pushed down just from park and projected runs and the fact that there's just so much terrifying stuff on the opposite side. I am getting to Woodruff, though. Woodruff is coming in the same sort of way that Pivetta is for me on FanDuel. A potential GPP upside play where he is completely underpriced and completely unowned. Well, not completely underpriced. He's at a price point that's easy to get to, and he is completely unowned. So I'm going to have some shares of Brandon Woodruff in GPPs on FanDuel. I don't really have much issue using him as an SP2 on DK, but I find it a little bit less appealing just because he is getting ownership there. But I think that I would probably end up over the field on Woodruff across all three sites, certainly on FanDuel. It's not that I want to load up on him, but I like him in GPPs.
I'm okay with it. Striking righties out at 33% early on this season. He's done a good job of limiting their production. Last season, he faced 89 righties and struck them out at 21%. Lefties at 32%. So we definitely have a strange mixed bag as far as Brandon Woodruff goes, but he does have pretty good strikeout stuff, and I think ultimately that's what matters most here. Go back to 2017, no real strikeouts at all, but he held righties to basically nothing in terms of weighted on base average from a power standpoint. I think it's possible that he goes out there and limits the runs today and gives you a handful of strikeouts. If that's the case, I get it, and going to be a lot of righties in the lineup for sure.
Yeah. As for bats in this game, Carpenter getting some ownership, Goldschmidt getting a little bit of ownership. It's kind of spread out across the Brewers. I would want to have shares of both sides of this, but I couldn't imagine getting a lot of volume. I love the Brewers bats. I mean, they've got 6 straight guys with ISOs projected north of 200. They're terrifying. But Jack Flaherty's good. So I wouldn't want to go overboard on anybody. I think Travis Shaw is probably the best guy to take on DK. Just first and third eligibility, $3,600 price tag is just stupid low for that. But I can't imagine getting to either team in bulk. Are you seeing something different?
No, not whatsoever. No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say here. I mean, you can one off just about any Brewers bat and feel good about it.
Yeah, you could, but I don't know. One-offing against Jack Flaherty doesn't seem to make the most sense here.
No, unless you're taking the new Mike Trout, I can't imagine doing anything else. Even
so, why do you want to pay top dollar against Jack Flaherty when you have a lot of really great matchups up top? To me, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, Yelich's price should be like $7K, right? I think he's underpriced.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the people that are listening to this as an audio podcast, you cannot see me shaking my head in disgust. Just to let you know, that was all sarcasm. Look, if you want to play Christian Yelich, by all means, no one's going to be like, yo, that's a dumb play. A fantastic baseball player. But yeah, there are much better matchups than running into Jack Flaherty, that's for sure.
I mean, I'd say it's a dumb play.
I'll never say dumb for a guy with talent like that.
Of course not, but like, why? If you're one off, you're better off just stacking. Like, why are you one-offing one of the most expensive outfielders? Like, it just to me, I don't. Like, what are you really hoping for with Yelich at this price against Flaherty when you have Trout against Mike Minor, Cody Bellinger if he's in the lineup against Tyler Mahle? Like, there's just so many really good outfielders in such better matchups. I don't know. To me, as good as Yelich is, like, you should have played him yesterday against
70 fantasy points on FanDuel.
Crazy. I mean, that was one of those spots where against Dakota Hudson, yeah, you play him. It doesn't even need to be a perfect matchup, but I don't know. For me, on a 13 or a 15 game slate, I just have no real utility for Yelich against one of the better righties in the game. But that's just me.
I'm on the same page with you. I don't expect that I would ever put him in manually. I also wouldn't take him out if he showed up.
Oh, well, no, I'm not going to take him out. But I mean, if he's showing up in more than like 5% of your lineups, it seems strange to me that would be the case.
Yep, I'm with you. Hit that like button, everybody. Perfect time to do that again. And subscribe. 4.9 run implied total for the Twins. 4.0 for the Blue Jays. It's 59% chance to win for Minnesota. Kyle Gibson going for the Twins. Aaron Sanchez going for the Blue Jays. No ownership going to Aaron Sanchez. I have no interest. A little bit of ownership going to Gibson on the two pitcher sites, Yahoo and DK. I'm not sure I see the appeal there. I don't really want any pitching. Am I crazy, or do you like Gibson?
Yeah, I see the appeal with Gibson.
Okay,
but
hit me with it.
I'm also a Kyle Gibson truther, so you know, if you want to tune out now, you can. He's got really good off-speed stuff. His secondary offerings are really good, and when he finally figures out how to use them in the right spots, he's going to be really good. So he has a slider that generates a ton of swinging strikes, a ton of whiffs. He has last year a curveball and a changeup that the whiff per swing rate on his slider, changeup, and curve were all above 35%, 51% on the slider, 46% on the curve, 36% on the changeup. Silly. He gets great numbers on these, and it just seems like he continues to try and induce ground balls with heavy sinker usage. Adam and I talk about this all the time. All of the tools are there, for Gibson to be really solid. So this is a boom or bust spot to me. Gibson is somebody that you generally don't get middling results. You get one or the other at a very cheap cost against the Toronto team that I don't think is very good whatsoever, against the Toronto team that is going to give you at least a fair amount of strikeouts on the season. No team is striking out more against. I said it was the Marlins. That changed after yesterday. The Blue Jays 30.4% K rate against righties is the highest in the league right now through the first, almost 3 weeks of the season, with a sub 300 weighted on base average. So they've got a little bit of power here, but the strikeout potential is there. The ability to limit runners is certainly there. All of it's there. So yeah, I think there's definite viability in Gibson all the way down here at 6,400. And while you said there might be some ownership, my expectations are that Gibson is still pretty low owned.
Yeah, we have him at 15% right now. Not that I have an issue with that or anything. I expect that I would get some Kyle Gibson, but he doesn't stand out in that range as anything more than just a guy to look at.
Yeah, I like him more than you do.
Okay. Bats, anything from the Twins side or the Blue Jays side? I didn't really get to much on FanDuel, although like McKinney and Smoke look fine. Randall Grichuk looks fine.
I mean, Aaron Sanchez just doesn't really give up home runs. His biggest flaws are, he walks batters and then gives up some ground ball singles. Yeah, he's not a guy that I enjoy stacking against because Generally, even when he is allowing runs, they aren't coming they aren't coming by way of extra base hits and home runs, so on and so forth. To me, it's never really a good spot to get at. And plus, from a stolen base standpoint, he's pretty average. Like, you can run on Aaron Sanchez.
Yeah.
So I would want somebody with speed if I'm playing them against them, but not really a stack that entices me on either side. No.
Okay. Yeah, on the Twin side, Kepler, Cruz, CJ Cron are the three that grade out well for me. Not a lot of volume coming into this game.
Yeah.
Gonna get some volume here, though. Rangers and Angels. I actually haven't seen if this total has come out or not, but I assume that it has at this point. Didn't have it while I started, so let me just double check it. I went with 10.
Joey Gallo's so good. Oh my God,
that
that's swing.
10.5. Okay, even worse.
Swing. We'll give you trouser action. Let me tell you, watching that second deck home. Oh my gosh, did you see that beautiful? Boy, Josh,
clean yourself up.
Yeah, that was after the show. Yeah, that was so pretty, man. I love this guy.
5.5 run implied total for the Rangers, 5 for the Angels. It's a 55% chance to win for Texas. Lots of fives. Mike Minor going for Texas. Jaime Barria going for the Angels. I can't imagine wanting pitching.
No, thank you. Mike Minor, though, give credit where credit's due. He shut down the Astros with 7 scoreless, 7 strikeouts. In Arizona, 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 Ks. Like, Mike Minor is. Here's my thing on Minor. Mike Minor is better than people make him out to be.
Yes.
He's not a terrible pitcher.
No.
But this is still a spot where I'm perfectly willing to get to some bats on the other side. I don't know if I'll be as high on him as you are. The only reason being that when you're looking at, like, trying to find power here, obviously I love Mike Trout. Okay.
Sure.
I have no interest in the lefty-lefty matchup for Cole Calhoun. And Drelton Simmons puts the ball in play. So that's the one favorable aspect here. And he's cheap. So I think, and shortstop's been kind of a rough position. So spots like that are interesting. If Fletcher leads off, then Fletcher's in play. But, Justin Bour but he hasn't even been starting. So, well, I was surprised he didn't start yesterday, did he? No, he didn't. Like Pujols righty lefty has really struggled over the last several years. I guess you'd still have something, and then maybe Lucroy bats, middle back of the order. So just there really isn't that much power in this lineup from the right side whatsoever. Mike Minor, to me, I'm not saying I'm playing Mike Minor. Especially maybe if he was like 5K, I'd consider it. Actually, I would, but not at this price point. I just don't think the Angel stack is as appealing as it might look when you just take a quick peek at the implied total.
Yeah, they're pretty chalky too across all 3 sites. Now, you got to take into account that Trout sort of makes that number go up on his own because he's just going to be 30% owned pretty much always.
Yeah.
But you're getting double digits into Simmons and Pujols, Lucroy, Zach Cozart. I'll have some Angels clearly, and it's really hard to not want to have Mike Trout in a game like this. But I don't need to go too crazy on the Angels side. I really like the Rangers side, and they're not getting as much ownership as I would have expected. I got a lot of Chu. I got a lot of Danny Santana. I got a lot of Mazzara. I got a lot of Gallo, and those guys just aren't carrying as much ownership as I would have expected. How do you feel about the Rangers?
I think one of the reasons might be that Jaime Barria has actually been markedly better against lefties, and I don't know how that plays here at Globe Life Park. I mean, it's definitely possible that going up against a slew of talented and power-laden lefties, things could turn ugly for him in a hurry. But I mean, we've seen him be a lot better against lefties than he is against righties. Displayed some serious reverse splits last year across 130 innings. Is that enough for everything to like normalize? I don't know, but it. I think there. I think there are reasons for it. I just. I don't. I could see maybe that being why the Angels aren't or the Rangers aren't as popular as we expected.
Yeah, I'm like. Nomar Mazara being 5% on FanDuel as a $3,600 outfielder in a game with a 5.5 run implied total is craziness to me. For Gallo to be 11%, it's just craziness to me. He's 4,200. Like, these guys are priced so cheaply on FanDuel.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, I'm going to end up with a lot of Rangers, especially if this stays so low. Just because of that run total, it's hard to avoid.
You know, it is weird though. If you look at Jaime Barria and you look at the pitches that he throws, he's fastball slider, like almost exclusively.
Yeah.
That, I mean, you think about it, he should be better against. It should be the other way around. He should be better against righties.
Right. Yeah, it's really weird.
You know, I'm looking at this last year against righties. He threw the slider 48% of the time. Okay. 48% of the time. So basically he was fastball slider and like a couple changeups. He threw against lefties. Well, I guess it's because he mixes in. No, he's still throwing 25% sliders against lefties. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's because he actually is a 3 pitch pitcher. Okay, check this out. Ready? Just listen to this.
Yeah.
Last year against lefties, 35% four seamer, 18% sinker, 25% slider, 23% changeup. So when you look across the board, you say, okay, pretty nicely evenly distributed, right? Like there's 4 different pitches that he's mixing in and nothing is skewed way higher than the other. Against righties, 41% fastball, four seamer, 5% sinker, 48% slider, 5% changeup. So he's almost exclusively four seam slider against righties, and then threw 4 pitches regularly to lefties. That is really interesting.
You don't see that often.
You don't.
I feel.
I don't think so. I don't think you go from 2 to 4 all that often. The reason maybe it's simply because 2 pitch pitchers as starters struggle, and he's a 2 pitch pitcher against righties and a 4 pitch pitcher against lefties. That's strange.
Yeah, very. Huh. He's a guy that I want to dig into a little bit more. Because he does not project well at a steamer. 5.18 FIP. Brutal. Not what you want heading into Texas.
No.
All righty. A couple more games to go. White Sox and Royals. 4.8 run implied total for the White Sox. 4.6 for the Royals. It's a 52% chance to win for Chicago. Ronaldo Lopez going for the Sox. Jorge Lopez going for the Royals. In the Battle of the Lopi, who you going with?
Battle of the Lopi. I like it. Well, I have zero interest in either pitcher, if that helps.
Okay. 19% expected ownership going to Ronaldo Lopez. He is the cheapest pitching option on DraftKings, and
that's crazy.
I agree with it.
That's crazy. Why? Like, not saying why to you, but like, why?
I mean, you're kind of saying why to me.
I guess, yeah, no, you know what? You're absolutely right. I am saying why to you. Why?
Cheapest pitching option on the slate. And what I would assume is probably the most advantageous strikeout matchup on the slate. Tons of Ks in the Royals lineup outside of Whit Merrifield. If I need to... Now, let me be clear here. I don't need him in 20% of my lineups. That's aggressive. Ignoring ownership, I would think, yeah, I will have some Ronaldo Lopez because I think he works as an interesting pay down option. Just because the Royals strike out so much. Can't say that I agree with the 19%, but he does grade out as someone that would show up in a lot of crunches for me.
All right.
Price tag is just super, super low.
I love Royals bats.
So do I. I am 3 times the field on FanDuel on Royals bats.
Okay. I'm not getting. I have no faith. I just think Ronaldo Lopez is not a good pitcher.
You would be absolutely right. 5.48 steamer FIP. That's
And I don't think,
not good.
I just don't think he's got a ton of strikeout upside either. Curious, where are the I guess yeah, there's some. So you're talking about Mondesi, Dozier, Soler. I guess. Oh yeah, there are some strikeouts here. Interestingly, this year they're striking out at a very low clip against righties, but collectively,
yeah,
I get it. I'm just I don't buy into Ronaldo Lopez, man. I
oh, you
can't.
should not.
I have a very tough, and I don't need to buy into somebody in order to play them, but I think probably the reason that we differ here is because I would rather play Kyle Gibson and take my chances on him. A lot of strikeouts in that Toronto lineup too.
I don't have much of an issue with that. Like, if I changed Kyle Gibson's projected innings by like 0.1 or something, they would be close to equals. So the margins are really thin down there. I understand why he's coming up just because of the Royals being projecting to be at least a heavy K team. Does not mean that I want to like go crazy. And like you said, I got a ton of Merrifield, a ton of Mondesi, a ton of Soler, a ton of Luke Duda. I mean, I want to be on this Royal stack because the more likely scenario here is that Ronaldo Lopez gets bombed. Because, he gets bombed a lot.
Yeah, he's allowed 3 home runs in each of his last 2 starts as well.
You don't project with a 548 FIP in Steamer without getting bombed more often than not.
Yeah, I'm with you. And stolen base matchup, not necessarily sure who's going to be behind the plate, but the White Sox don't really have anyone back there that is going to concern me. Never mind. No, I'd much rather have Castillo behind the plate than James McCann.
How do you feel about White Sox bats here against Jorge Lopez?
Jorge Lopez is strange in that when you just look at a run prevention standpoint, he isn't a guy that has ever really stood out to me as someone that I like to load up on bats against. Now he clearly hasn't. We haven't seen him in the league all that often anyway, right? But last year in the limited work that we saw from him, he was just like he was one of those guys that I didn't target and I didn't play, and I didn't play many guys against him either. White Sox bats, what's their total? 4.7. That seems about right. I
have 4.8 White Sox, 4.6 Royals right now.
Okay. I'm very neutral here. I'm not on Lopez. If I end up on White Sox bats, that's fine too. But there's nothing that jumps off the page at me. I think that'd be the easiest way for me to put it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I see a couple guys as potentially good values, dollar for dollar. Jose Abreu, Moncada, Yonder Alonso. But I don't see the need to get to any sort of volume here either.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
We'll head to the Padres. The last couple games will go pretty quick. All of the time was in the early bits.
Yep.
This should be fun. I might not need to toss this one to you. You'll make fun of me anyway.
Margevicius.
That'll work. 4.3 run implied total for the Padres. 3.7 runs.
Is that what you were going to toss to me?
Yeah. Okay. Nick M. going for San Diego. John Gray on the hill for Colorado.
That's good.
Colorado and John Gray. I mean, I'm a big John Gray guy. He's 28% expected ownership on Yahoo, 7% only on FanDuel, and I didn't get to him, but that will change. 20% on DraftKings. I mean, I'll take John Gray in San Diego all day. How do you feel about Gray?
Yeah, you know it, man. I think John Gray was one of the most unlucky pitchers last year. I'm not excusing everything. I'm not absolving him of all of these problems, but I thought he was terribly unlucky last year. Let's look. He still had a 12.3% swinging strike rate. Like first pitch strike rate, something you'd want to look at, was exactly the same. His zone contact last season was down 5% from the year before. His contact rate was down 8% from the previous season. Outside contact was down 11% from the previous season. He was missing a ridiculous amount of bats. A couple things. He wasn't getting nearly as many ground ball, double play balls. Some of that can just be attributed to it just didn't happen, is it something you can work on? Yeah, sure, I guess. But I mean, I just thought there was an incredible amount of bad luck for Jon Gray last year.
Yep.
And I would expect that to find a way to turn itself around this season. I'm a big fan. Oh, by the way, his strand rate was 9% lower last year than the year before too. So left on base rate, that a lot of that is indicative of bad luck when your strand rate is really low. I love Jon Gray's stuff. I think he's got phenomenal stuff. He can strike anybody out, and my guess is that sooner than later we're going to get like a 12 or 13 strikeout game from him.
And maybe that'll be today. So for everybody on FanDuel that's playing 26% Chris Sale and only 7% Jon Gray, do yourself a favor and flip those two things. They are separated by $300. That's just the easy pivot right there.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, why would I pivot to Jon Gray over Chris Sale?" Well, one of them is not showing serious issues.
Yeah.
Normally, it'd be if that's the price, you'd be an idiot to play Jon Gray over Chris Sale.
Yeah, one of them is also pitching in San Diego, which is clearly helpful.
Yeah, he's also throwing 96.
Yeah, not 90. Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Any interest in Nick M?
I love it.
I'm not even going to bother on this today.
No. Here's why. Markovich's is looked fine.
Gesundheit.
Thanks. But you're paying up for this guy here? No. He should not be priced there. To me, that's pretty wild.
I'm with you.
What's that?
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's really tough for me to make sense of that. I mean, on Yahoo, he's pretty cheap. He's $7,900 on DraftKings though. Like he's basically the same price as Jose Quintana, who's got the Marlins, who's striking batters out at will right now. I don't get there. Markovich's has a 7.9% swinging strike rate. The reason I bring that up is because that's probably where it should be. He doesn't really project for anything ridiculous. He's never pitched above A+ ball. Like this Rockies team is bad right now. They need to get back to Coors more than any team needs to get home. But I don't see the need to pay that much. I mean, dude, Jon Gray's only $800 more than Markovich is, and he is just clearly so much better than this guy.
I'm going to have some Rockies here.
Sure.
Arenado, Story going under-owned. Under 4K price tags on FanDuel. Righty lefty.
I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah. So I like those guys. I don't mind that 1 through 4 stack for Colorado either. They're just completely unowned. 2% aggregate on FanDuel, 1% on DK. I don't mind this stack whatsoever, even in San Diego, even with a poor run total.
I have no problem with it at all.
I don't need to jam in Ian Desmond or anything like that with any sort of abundance, but Arenado and Story are talented hitters.
Yep.
Just I'll bet on that. If Nolan Arenado is 2% owned on FanDuel, rest assured that I'm going to have a lot more than that.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that.
All righty. 3 to go. Not much to talk about. A's and Astros. A's 3.8 run implied total. Astros 4.7. It's a 60% chance to win for the Stros. Marco Estrada going for Oakland. Colin McHugh going for Houston. No ownership whatsoever to Estrada across the board. Can't imagine that's going to be a very popular spot for anyone. How do you feel about Colin McHugh? Not really getting a ton of love. 10% expected on DK. Only 1% expected on FanDuel. Are you a McHugh guy?
I love Colin McHugh, man.
Okay.
Not in this start though.
Okay.
I think he has really good stuff, and I think he continues to prove that. And we continue like against the Yankees. I loved Colin McHugh. Against Oakland, maybe I should more than I do. But I'm just plus this is a much bigger slate. I think it's just coming down to like I'd rather play a similarly priced John Gray.
Yep.
If Quintana around that price range, McHugh really does have good stuff, and I take nothing away from him. I'm loving what we're seeing from him, and I think he's already 90 plus pitches in 2 starts. I don't think he'll have any trouble getting to 100 if need be, but this just is not a spot that I love for him. And Oakland, I know that this is you're talking like recency bias and stuff here, but they're just smoking the ball right now, and they've got a lot of guys that can make you pay. So it's more just along the lines of I don't have to go to Colin McHugh today because I have so many alternatives.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I would rather have Gray. If I have any Colin McHugh, I'm totally fine with it. Oakland's ballpark is appealing. 3.8 run implied total is appealing. Very good chance to get a win since Marco Estrada is on the hill on the other side. But it's really hard to prioritize him, at least on FanDuel on a 15-game slate.
Yeah, right. That's exactly. Marco Estrada, he's going to benefit from the games that he pitches in Oakland. I mean, I don't think there's any question there. But he has allowed a few home runs. Where did that series come against in March before opening day against Seattle?
Japan?
It was Japan, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. So, and that was Oakland, Seattle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely Seattle just because of Ichiro. I'm pretty sure.
I know it was Seattle. Yeah. It had to have been Oakland because Marco Estrada pitched on the 21st of March.
That's true.
It had to have been. Okay.
Any Oakland bats for you?
Any Oakland bats?
Yeah.
No.
I agree. No ownership either going to any of these guys.
Houston bats I have some interest in, but again, I think Estrada will benefit just from the fact that he's in a spacious park.
Yeah, Springer grades out really well for me. Getting very little ownership on FanDuel. Bregman, Altuve, Correa. I'm not telling anybody things they don't already know. Roster all-star hitters when they're under-owned.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I'm cool with having the Astros. I have double the field right now. I'm happy to have that. I hope I end up getting more. Any Astros that I get here are fine. It's not the most advantageous park, but boy, oh boy, is that an advantageous pitcher.
Yep. Wow, Altuve had homered in 5 straight games.
Craziness. Such a little guy, too.
It's incredible. He homered in 5 straight games, had multiple hits in 5 of 6. This guy's so damn good. He has 7 home runs and 13 RBIs on the season. It's crazy.
Love that dude.
I remember I went to a Phillies Astros game with my buddy Steve, like 5 years.
Steve?
What's that?
Just shouting out your buddy Steve.
Oh yeah, what's up, Steve? Like 5 years ago, and I was blown away. We were sitting pretty close to the field, and I was blown away by the size of Jose Altuve, or the lack thereof.
Yeah, he's just a little dude. Real little.
The fact that he has that type of power.
Yeah, I mean, he broke the mold. Keith Law didn't think that he could be, a high-end MLB hitter because that particular package is so rare. He's the exception, not the norm.
Yeah. It's outrageous.
Yeah. 2 to go. Dodgers and Reds. 4.6 run implied total for the Dodgers. 3.4 for the Reds. It's a 62% chance to win for LA. Kenta Maeda going for the Dodgers. Tyler Mahle going for Cincinnati. I have no interest whatsoever in Tyler Mahle. Do have a little bit of interest in Maeda. It's just the same sort of story for every other Dodgers pitcher. How long will he be in the game?
Right. Flat out elite against righty bats.
Yes.
Just a really good pitcher. I don't have any problem if you wanted to get to Kenta Maeda in tournaments, but like you said, what's up with the pitch count? Now, the interesting thing though is he threw 106 pitches in his first start.
That works for me.
Yep, 91 pitches in his second start, but he got through 5 innings, so I can see why he didn't come back out. 82 pitches against St. Louis, but he was getting rocked in that start. I don't think he really. I think Roberts has given him a much longer leash than most of these starters. So, to me, that's worth noting for sure.
Yeah, the only downside here is just that the Reds don't strike out all that much.
Right, and they also have a decent amount of lefties.
Yeah.
Just give me a ton of Dodger bats here, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I have no issue getting to Dodgers bats. Nice run total. Tyler Mahle, nothing special. Plenty of power from LA. Peterson, Seager, Turner, Bellinger, Pollock, Max Muncy, PK Hernandez. I don't know what a Rocky Gale is, but that's a guy apparently.
I mean, Tyler Mahle's had some serious problems with left-handed hitters. For his career, he's faced 308 of them. He has a 414 WOBA against, a 261 ISO.
Not good.
2.31 home runs per 9, a 5.79 xFIP, 44% fly ball rate, and 44% hard contact. Like, all of those are bad. Yeah. I love the Dodgers here. I think they can decimate Tyler Mahle at Dodger Stadium. I would love to know that Cody Bellinger is in the lineup
for sure.
But Bellinger, Peterson, Verdugo in the outfield. Yes, I have no problem with Verdugo there. Corey Seager is very reasonably priced. Muncy, and then there's so many good lefty bats here that I will continue to pick on Tyler Mahle. Now, to be fair, against righties, he's actually been really good. 282 WOBA and hardly any power allowed. If you're stacking here, it's no issues because, if the lefties do blow him up, he's not going to be in the game for more than a couple innings.
Yeah.
But just way worse against lefties, and it's not even close. He's actually been good, above average against righties.
Yeah, and the problem is, you can be good against righties, but when the righties end up being someone like Justin Turner, who is like an elite righty bat, then, basically all you're doing is bringing him down to average. There's not a lot of holes in this outside of whatever Rocky Gale is.
Right.
Rocky Gale, 57 weighted runs created plus from Steven.
Solid.
Yeah.
Better than Jose Ramirez.
That's a made-up name. It's just a made-up name. Any Reds bats for you? I'm down with Puig on FanDuel, but that's about it. And Yahoo, I guess.
I'm good on the Reds.
Puig just $2,400, projected to hit third. Get that revenge narrative going in baseball. Just kidding.
Sorry, I missed that. What'd you say?
I said get the revenge. Yeah.
Well,
that wasn't. I was just letting everybody know. I was kidding.
Too late. The revenge narrative came yesterday when he homered in his first plate appearance at Dodger Stadium.
Did he really?
Against Kershaw, yeah.
Kershaw's start looked pretty good. 7 innings, 6 Ks, no walks.
Yeah, I was looking at his fastball, 89, 90 miles per hour, but he seems to have retooled a little bit.
Yeah. Turning into Tom Glavine as he ages. That's all he's got to do. Look at CC Sabathia. Weighs like 600 pounds, still in the league. He's going to be there forever. Final game, Mariners and Indians. 3.9 run implied total for the Mariners. 4.1 for the Indians. 51% chance to win for Cleveland. Mike Leake going for Seattle. Shane Bieber going for Cleveland. Bieber getting no love on FanDuel. Mike Leake getting obvious no love on FanDuel. DK, though, 14% for Bieber. How you feeling about the Biebs today?
Not on the Biebs.
No, I get it. Not appealing. Not when John Gray's $100 more.
Right. It really just comes back to that again.
I like Bieber a lot more when it's like a 6-game slate.
Yeah, and a solid spot. I mean, this Seattle team's going to make life tough for you.
Very true. Are you getting to any bats? I essentially don't have much of anything outside of Jose Ramirez.
I don't think Mike Leake is crazy to play him.
Whew. Okay, go for it.
It's a Cleveland Indians team that is downright dreadful. You're at T-Mobile Park, formerly known as Safeco Field, and
I didn't know it was T-Mobile Park. I think I called it Safeco a couple days ago.
Yeah, I mean, so did I.
I can't keep track of that shit.
No, who can? Well, I can. I just did. It's really just a matter of him not being expensive and actually having a good slider, and not look. He's not a great pitcher. He's not a hard thrower, but Cleveland's just god awful. So if you're playing 150 lineups, getting a little bit of Mike Leake, I really don't have an issue with it. I mean, we're talking about people playing some other pitchers down here that, like, Dylan Bundy at 7,100. It's because Dylan Bundy has a lot of strikeout upside. I get that, but no, I don't think it's a ridiculous idea. That I don't think it's crazy to think that Leake could go 7 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts here with a win. I don't. He's got 6 and 7 strikeouts in 2 of 3 starts, one of them against Boston, and he showed some improvements over the second half of last season. So I don't think it's the craziest idea, but I understand why people would not want to do that.
Yeah, if I got a couple shares on DraftKings, I wouldn't care all that much. He grades out kind of similarly to like Pablo Lopez, who's also at 7% ownership. So I get it. Bieber's just a hard justification on a full slate. And like I said, only Jose Ramirez is the guy I'm looking for.
I was talking about Leake, not Bieber.
What?
I was talking about Mike Leake, not Bieber.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Leake grades out. I was just hitting both pitchers quickly.
Oh, gotcha.
Leake grades out pretty similar to like Pablo Lopez. They're both projected for 7% ownership, separated by $200. I see them as comparable guys. But for Bieber, like, he's just not that kind of slate for me.
Me neither.
And then Jose Ramirez is $3,100 on FanDuel and $12 on Yahoo, $4,200 on DK.
He finally did it yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Finally homered.
Yes, he did. Other than that, I'm good. I don't know. Jay Bruce as a one-off, completely unowned, I guess, but that's not super appealing to me.
No, I don't. I don't like bats at all from this game, and
nor should you.
I get it. Some people might like Cleveland, but that's not a very good offense. They only have a 4.1 run total, so
yeah, it's crazy.
Pretty low.
There's some respect for Leake.
Would not be surprised to see Leake go 7 innings with a run allowed and 5 or 6 Ks with a win. It would not surprise me.
No, not at all.
At that price, he wouldn't need 10 strikeouts.
All right, well, we got to get Laffy a nap.
It was a long night last night, man. I was up late finishing that Clippers game.
Yeah. Hit the like button, everybody. Very helpful on your way out the door. MLB Strategy is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. Any package you choose, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher. Coming up later today at 2:30, Ben and Tim will be talking the RBC Heritage, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's the next PGA event.
You're asking me?
No. Go to our YouTube channel. The event is already created. And then we will have the deeper dive later this afternoon. Laffy and Ship My Money's illustrious return back to the deeper dive. Luckily for me, I don't have to cover it. And then I will be back on Live Before Lock tonight with Chris Baggs, taking you all the way up till 7. FanDuel will be locking during the middle of the show. I will be playing FanDuel, so you'll get some. You'll know exactly what's going on my end. That's for sure. That's all I got. Laffy, anything else?
See you at 5. Actually, I guess we'll do 4:45 because of how many games this is.
That's probably not the worst idea in the world, and you guys will still go long.
Probably.
There you go. Best of luck, everybody. We'll talk to you later.